Does your yard have pools of water that are wet in some seasons and dry in others? Do you often hear loud choruses of frogs coming from your yard? Well, you may be the proud owner of a vernal pool. This month's episode is all about vernal pools, a very special habitat that is important for many species, including humans. A vernal pool is a pool that fills with water in the fall and winter and dries out during the spring and summer. They are also known as ephemeral pools or seasonal wetlands. They provide habitats for distinct animal and plant species. Some animals and plants require both the wet and dry seasons for reproduction, which makes vernal pools essential for their life cycles. Many other animals choose to breed in vernal pools because they are free from predators like fish that live in other bodies of water. Species found in vernal pools can be classified into two categories: obligate or indicator species and facultative species. First, we will talk about some of the obligate species. The sound you heard in the first part of the video are the calls of the wood frog. Wood frogs are an example of an obligate vernal pool species, which means that their life cycle depends on vernal pools. They return by the hundreds to the pools where they and their ancestors hatched and grew to lay their eggs between February and April every year, and then, just as quickly as they appeared, they will return to the forest. Their eggs and tadpoles rely on the safety of the vernal pools to survive. Ohio's mole salamanders, including the spotted salamander seen here, are also obligate species. They will migrate to vernal pools during the first rain after the snow thaws to lay their eggs. The eggs will hatch and enter their aquatic larval stage where they will feed and grow. When they reach their juvenile stage, they lose their gills and develop lungs and are able to leave the safety of the pool, and 2 to 3 years later, they will return as adults to lay their eggs. Vernal pools also provide one of the only habitats for fairy shrimp. Fairy shrimp are 1-inch long translucent crustaceans that are close relatives of the sea monkey. Fairy shrimp have a short life cycle. Each winter during the rainy season, the dry pools fill with water and the eggs of the fairy shrimp hatch. They mature over the course of just a few weeks, and before the pool dries again, the females produce eggs that are able to survive the dry season and hatch once the pools fill with water again. Fairy shrimp are known as macroinvertebrates, an organism without a backbone that can be seen without a microscope. Vernal pools are great habitats for many species of macroinvertebrate. This next organism is also a macroinvertebrate, but it is a facultative vernal pool species. Facultative species do not require vernal pools to breed, but reap the benefits of these unique habitats. In a pond or lake, this predaceous diving beetle larva would surely become lunch for a fish or turtle, but in a vernal pool, they thrive on the top of the food chain. Their sharp mandibles make it easy for them to dine on frog eggs, tadpoles, or other small insects. Many of Ohio's turtle species are considered facultative vernal pool species as well, including the painted turtle seen here. They visit vernal pools to dine on aquatic insects, crustaceans, and vegetation. Snapping turtles will also visit vernal pools for an easy meal of unsuspecting amphibians, reptiles, arthropods, or birds. Another common sound that you might hear this time of year is the call of the spring peeper. Spring peepers do not require vernal pools to breed, but it creates a safe area for this tiny amphibian to lay its eggs. The areas surrounding vernal pools also create habitats for many organisms. Skunk cabbage can be found in wetlands and near vernal pools. You may recognize this plant from last month's episode. Skunk cabbage requires high-quality water systems and cool running water to establish and thrive, so if you have this plant in your backyard, that's an indicator that you have a healthy wetland. Flip over a log near a vernal pool and you may find an eastern redback salamander. These salamanders do not have lungs. They absorb oxygen through their skin, which requires adequate soil moisture. They also feed on insects and arthropods, which makes the outer edge of a vernal pool an ideal habitat. Now that you've learned all about these unique and fantastic habitats and you love them as much as I do, you may want to know what you can do to help protect them. Here are 3 simple things you can do to conserve vernal pools and other wetland habitats at home and in our parks. The first thing is to stay on designated parks trails. It may be tempting to venture off, but parks trails are carefully designed to allow visitors to view nature without disturbing it. The second thing is to view wetlands from afar. Even if a wetland is along a trail, entering one could unknowingly destroy the eggs, larvae, or adults of various species or disrupt mating rituals. It's also important to keep pets and small children away from wetlands for this reason, and also for their safety. Binoculars or a camera with a good zoom lens are great for viewing wetlands. The last thing you can do is to ask for more information about wetlands from your local park districts. Reach out to your national, state, or county park districts and even your own Brimfield Township Parks Department for publications, recommended readings, and upcoming programs and workshops. The number one threat to the plants and animals we talked about in today's episode is habitat loss. Wetlands are being destroyed at an alarming rate and provide crucial habitats for these creatures. Not only that, they provide clean drinking water and floodwater and erosion control for us. So if you are fortunate enough to have wetlands on your property, consider what you can do to protect them, not just for the frogs and salamanders, but for all of us.